Though canine is an anterior tooth, it cannot be retracted using labial bone, as it has to be moved distally more than lingual direction. Hence, following the extraction of first premolars, the canines are retracted or distalized using one of the 4 different types of the canine retractors. So today we are going to see about the helical canine retractor, which is also called as reverse loop canine retractor, and it is indicated when the canine is placed in the line of the arch and has to be just distalized. This is most commonly used canine retractor, and it can be used in both the upper and the lower arches. So let's start making the helical canine retractor or a reverse loop canine retractor. So we are going to make it on the mandibular cast and on the left side. So we first need to take around 5 cm of 0.6 mm or around 23 gauge stainless steel wire. We need to mark the approx midpoint of this wire. This is going to be the location for our helix. So now we'll start making the helix. So the internal diameter of the helix should be around 4 mm. Now, both the arms which we are making should be parallel to each other. So, these are 2 arms and the helix. Now the height of the helix should be as high as possible in the sulcus, but again it should be short of its functional depth. Now these are the 2 arms. So this is a mesial arm, this is the distal arm. The mesial arm is basically a retentive arm. It should be present on the mesial surface of the second premolar, and it is an out arm, that is, it is present away from the tissue. While the distal arm, it is an active arm. It is present towards the tissue and it is an internal arm. So now we have to make a 90-degree bend on the active arm at the level of cervical margin. So we are marking the point here at the cervical margin, and we'll make a right angle bend. So now we are making the right angle bend in the active arm. Basic, need to adapt it again slightly. So around at the level of the cervical margin, we have made this right angle bend. We need to cut a slight amount of the extra wire. We basically need to give a gentle curve so that this active arm needs to adapt on the mesial surface of the canine. So the wire is a little bit extra. So this is how we have to adapt. So this is how we have adapted the active arm. Now we have to make the retentive arm. So we have to mark the point at the imaginary contact point on the mesial surface of the second premolar, and we have to make the retentive arm. give a bend. This location. And finally, we have to make the tag arm so we have adapted to this and this. So this is how we have completed making the helical canine retractor. So the points which we should remember are the internal diameter of the helix, which should be around 4 mm. The active arm should be well adapted on the mesial surface and the retentive arm on the lingual surface. At the same time, this retractor is supposed to be entirely passive. Now let us discuss the activation of this helical canine retractor. So this retractor is activated by opening the helix, or the other method of activation is we can cut the free end of the active arm by 1 mm and again readapt it on the mesial surface. Thank you.